Okay. You will note that actually CAPWIP has been doing this in collaboration with these different partners. And in particular, UNDP has in fact a whole contingent from the Pacific that is supported by UNDP Pacific. So we have both Pacific headquarters of UNDP with us in this undertaking. This time, I would like to call on a friend, a colleague, who is now with UNIFEM and represents UNIFEM in this event, Socorro Reyes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Dr. Jong-Soo Kim, President of the Center for Asia-Pacific Women in Politics, Deputy Speaker Carmelita Villarosa, Undersecretary Tessa Castillo, the UNEP representative, CAPWIP board members, valued partners, competent organizers, and women and men gender champions all over the world. On behalf of the United Nations Development Fund for Women, or UNIFEM, and our Executive Director, Ines Alberdi, I would like to extend our most sincere congratulations to CAPWIP in its third World Congress, focusing on a subject that cannot be more timely and strategic: gender and climate change. CAPWIP is a most valued partner of UNIFEM in our global work to promote gender equality and women's rights in democratic governance in both stable and fragile states. I am very happy to be with longtime friends in the women's movement. And though all of us are 13 years wiser since Beijing, we continue to be at the forefront of the advocacy for mainstreaming gender in all aspects of public policy. It is very impressive that CAPWIP has reached out to a broad range of partners in government, civil society, UN agencies, and the donor community. UNIFEM is very pleased to join our sister UN agencies, UNISDR, UNEP, and UNDP, as well as WEDO, GCA, IPU, ADB, and IUCN in this historic conference, as well as all participants from different parts of the world who will share their experience and expertise in this critical area of climate change at a seminal moment. Over the next century, the projected rise in average global temperature and sea levels is expected to have various foreseeable and unexpected impact on the environment. While all will be affected, some populations might bear greater hardships, and all have a duty to ensure that the security and rights of the most marginalized and vulnerable populations to adverse effects of climate change are respected. We are here today because we understand that a gender-sensitive approach to climate change is imperative. It will foster more sustainable outcomes that incorporate and respond to the needs of society at large. Furthermore, mitigation and adaptation strategies that incorporate the different needs and contributions of women and men and address the power differentiation between genders are, simply put, more likely to be effective. Fortunately for women around the world, this third Global Conference of Women in Politics and Governance focuses on an effective gender-sensitive approach to climate change. It could not be held at a more opportune time. Women's vulnerability in both environmental crisis and natural disasters due to discrimination, inequality, and inhibiting gender roles demand that gender considerations be integrated into disaster risk reduction interventions and post-disaster efforts in particular. The most oft-cited examples being that skills such as swimming and tree climbing be unselectively taught to both sexes to increase chances of survival during floods and cyclones, and that early warning information be provided in a manner accessible to all sectors of society, regardless of their literacy, socioeconomic status, or access to public forums. Moreover, increasing the number and capacity of persons with gender expertise in decision-making processes will help ensure that the unique circumstances of women are considered and responded to in the formulation and implementation of all public policies related to climate change, including legal and social protection, sustainable development, resource management and conservation, human security, adaptation, and disaster risk reduction strategies. There are many lessons that have been learned how best to do this, and UNIFEM is honored to share our experience in the next few days alongside all of you who work so diligently for women's empowerment and gender equality. During the post-tsunami reconstruction in Aceh, UNIFEM supported the women in seizing the opportunity to strengthen their legal rights, introduce a gender equality perspective in kanuns or local legislation, mainstream gender in the Aceh recovery framework, strengthen the position of the Women's Empowerment Agency, set up a violence-free village, participate in the reconstruction of the Balay Inon, or Women's House, and enhance their participation in the electoral process. This contributed to, among other results, women running for office at an exceptionally high rate in the 2009 elections. 380 out of the 1,187 candidates are women. And our very busy person in charge of everything that happens here, including, of course, the whole of CAPWIP, knows this very well. She started it when she was the Regional Program Director of UNIFEM's East and Southeast Asia program. In conclusion, our objective here is to make clear to the international community that gender, like climate change, is a cross-cutting issue. For this reason, effective and just climate change policies require both climate objectives and equity objectives. Climate objectives are imperative and of course include protection of biodiversity, conservation, reforestation, carbon reduction and sequestering, sustainable development, and other mitigation measures. Just as significant, however, are equity objectives, which include a transfer of relevant technology, funding for mitigation and adaptation measures to developing states, and participatory, inclusive processes that involve women, indigenous, and other underrepresented but affected populations. Combining the two, climate and equity objectives, will reinforce the capacity of climate change policies and programs to create sustainable impact on the lives of people affected by global warming. Once again, congratulations to CAPWIP and their partners for this Congress, and we look forward to the next few days. Thank you very much.